Hello, it's Randy Duck and welcome back for another video. This time I've got 3 replays for you in the recently buffed Tier 10 Chinese heavy tank, the WZ-5A. Now, the first replay I have for you today is actually a replay I got just before the tank was buffed. So I thought I'd use this one so you can see the comparison between the unbuffed 5A and the new buffed 5A. Essentially the buff they had, it was a slight increase to the accuracy and a buff to the DPM. Now I think it was about half a second, roughly half a second increase, or sorry, decrease on the reload, which was the buff. Now to be honest with you, I don't think the 5A necessarily required a buff on its own merit. It already had good DPM with its 490 alpha. But the thing is, because of the one tank, the QL, which essentially had exactly the same DPM as the 5A, had a longer reload, but had bigger alpha, but with the same DPM, it just kind of outclassed the 5A, really, and there was no real point of the 5A. Now the 5A's got that little bit of a buff to the reload. It does have slightly better DPM than the QL. I mean, I'm not saying it's better than the QL, but it has slightly better DPM, and it is still an amazing tank. Now, I hear on the first map platooned up with Jokers, VK Jokers, and Big Rossi, and we decided that there's no artillery in the game. We're going to spot the cross, and we managed to get 2 shots in. We then spotted the heavies crossing in the open. Dream scenario, and you can see there with that 490 alphas, really nice. You really slapped the tanks with it. With the food activated, I think the reload goes down to about 7.7. Obviously, this is before the buff, basically. So it is obviously quicker now in the other videos. But you can see we've already picked up 2,000 assistance, or 3,000 assistance, 2,500 damage. We go for the track wheel, hit the tracks. It doesn't track him, it doesn't pen, which is a bit of a shame, because we could have just gone for the easier damage shot instead. But that is a pretty nice engagement, isn't it, at the start of this game, picking up 3,000 assistance, 2,500 damage right there at the start of the game. So that was kind of the perfect cross. But now all the tanks have actually made the cross. I'm not going to get much more out of that position anymore. So I'm going to decide to move around to try and get to a position where I can engage those heavy tanks. And with there being no fun police in the game, it's just so much nicer, really, isn't it? Well, I don't have to worry about that. I only have to worry about getting shot from the tanks in front of me. And I'm going to make my way over there to support VK Jokers and see what more we can do. Because we had a decent start, but we don't want it to fade away like that. We still want to get a bit more damage into this game, and there's plenty of it. So we're going to move across. There's obviously going to have got the camping TDs back here and the heavy tank. So the majority of the enemy team are this way. So we're heading in the right direction. We're just scanning to see the hit points of tanks. You see that E100 took an absolute beating as he came in. We took a nice little shot there into the turret of the M103, putting us onto just under 3,000 damage. And then we're going to back up just to see if we're going to, the enemy team will poach out. I want to try and get to the ridge in front of me, but I don't want to take too much damage in shots, for making that push. But I have just spotted on the mini map, but you've got this Emil 2 pushing out into the open towards Rossi. So I'm actually going to see if I can get any side shots into this Emil to help him out while he's pushing around in the open. But unfortunately for me, it has actually got into cover. But we're going to try and push around to see. I think Rossi was trying to push him out, and I was going to see if I can get shots into that Emil 2, see if we can take him out. And he does come up, and we just managed to get one into his turret. Now obviously that's a problem with the Emil 2, really. If the turret's facing you like this, then it's obviously going to be very difficult to penetrate when it's hulled down. But it's got such a big side profile of the turret. If it's not facing you, you can just slap shots into the side of the turret, which has happened there. I'm now VK Jokers has actually made the push up into the ridge line where I would like to be. I'm going to try and make my way over there, but as you can see, there is quite a few TDs on this game. Obviously I've got to be a little bit careful when I poke, but I don't get shat on by like an S-Barn or Death Star, or get caught out by a WZ-111 or something like that. So, but we know pretty much where they're all going to be. I want to ideally get over this ridge and then into the bit of cover in front of us, under their ridge, because then I'm going to be proxy spotting all the tanks and maybe pick up a little bit more assistance. But I can't quite just make the push over there at the moment because I don't want to get slapped by some TDs doing so. So we're going to see if we can take out this heavy tank, and then we should be able to make the push. He's on a one shot to us, potential one shot to us, and we do take him out, picking up another little kill of the game. We're going to go and make the push here, but as we do it, we get lit up. It's this S-Barn. Now, you know, naturally I don't want to take a shot off of that tank because it is still fairly even, although it's looking like we're in a pretty decent position as far as our team goes, because the enemy team hasn't really got any map control. All their teams are just sat in this little location now, so they're going to be completely pincered in, and it's going to be nowhere for them to run. So we're going to push in, get underneath this ridge. We did eat one off of the grill, but it's not too much of an issue because we had all our hit points anyway. So we've still got 1500, which is more than enough for this last engagement. And we're going to see if we can get any more damage in here. Like I say, the enemy team's kind of pincered in. They've not got the map control. We get slapped one into that Progetto 65. And now we're going to see if we can get another one in. He does get taken out by E4. It's not possible. We was looking at that back chat, but I figured he's going to be killed before I even get an opportunity to get a shot into him. So I'm just going to push and try and get a shot into this heavy tank instead. Thankfully, he's not looking at me, so we've got an easy pen for the side profile of the turret. We should be able to get another one in as long as he doesn't turn, which we do, picking up another kill. And now, like I say, because the team was pincered, it's all over. They're nowhere to go. Get a shot into grill, pick up another kill, but we don't manage to get that last shot in. But that brings us into the first replay. Like I say, this was when the tank was unbuffed. The next replays will be when it is got its buff. But we did pick up 3 kills, just shy of 6,000 damage, and about 3,700 assistance. So, thanks for watching. I'll see you in a bit for the second replay. Okay, so here we are for the second replay on Sidgefield Line. We are solo on this replay, and this is the first replay with the buffed version of the tank. Now, I think the only difference is I have taken vents off, to make sure, so I've got optics on for the extra view range. Now, that has obviously decreased my reload by a little bit, so you're not going to see the full, I haven't got the maximum possible reload you can get on there, but I just kind of wanted the extra view range. Now, you can run vents and stabs. I would recommend running stabs on this tank just because although the accuracy has been buffed, and if you look at the accuracy on the actual stats, it's not that bad. It's actually fairly okay once you've got with the buff. But the problem is I feel like the soft stats of the gun means that it does sometimes, to me, can feel a little bit trolly even with the buff to the accuracy. So I do like to run stabs on this tank. Now, we've got this TVP in the open. Obviously, we're not going to, we think we shouldn't struggle penetrating that thing with the AP. Unfortunately, we do bounce one off the turret because of it, I guess, an extreme angle. But we're going to try and get one in here, and we do. And now we're just watching out to make sure we can't get penned from behind or anything like that while we try and take care of this TVP so we can then press forward and see if we get any shots at anything else. We do manage to take out the TVP, and that bringing this, allowing us that bit of freedom to push up a little bit. We've got to be a little bit careful of the fun police. We're not too sure where that tank's positioned yet. I imagine it's probably going to be in a sort of a 0 area. But we spotted this Waffle E100. Now we go for the shot into the turret, which we know was going to pend. Unfortunately, the shot doesn't go true. We don't manage to hit. We do manage to get that one in. And now, hopefully, like I say, I'm swapped to the HE just because I didn't want to lose time on my reload. I wasn't expecting the Waffle to be alive that long. But we do manage to take him out, putting this up to 2,000 damage. So not a bad start to the game, although it is still a fairly even game. We get one into this light tank as it's trying to escape. We've pushed that light tank out of there now, which is nice. We don't have to worry about getting shot in the side. And I'm now trying to push up to where, so I can sort of cover the cap and see if we can try and remove this leopard from the game. We get one into him, putting him onto a 2-shot to us with that 490 alpha, as long as if we don't low roll. Now, I'm a bit hesitant on crossing just because I know there's a good chance there's going to be a tank watching as I make the cross. But at the same time, I want to. We're starting to lose some tanks, and I want to get across to push out that Centurion, which is pushed over, and potentially, if the Leopard is still there, try and get rid of the Leopard. So I am going to make the cross, just sort of hoping I don't get shot. But yeah, as to be expected, there was a tank watching, and it happened to be something in a big Alpha, as it always is. But we do at least manage to get one into him in return. You know, so we don't quite trade out our hit points, but at least we get, you know, we get one back in, so we went 1 for 1. This AMX 3105 is now coming for us. We're just trying our best to keep our front plate towards him, because it's going to be our best armour. And we do manage to do so, and then we get one into this Centurion, and unfortunately we spot that TD a little bit too late, and we tried to get into cover, so we only had our turret exposing, but annoyingly he does hit us again. Now we're a one shot to him, he's also a one shot to us, and I'm hard aiming this cupola here, because this is risky here, because he can, like I say, I've got to be really careful, because he overpokes and gets a shot into me and pens me and I'm going to die. So this is why I'm just at the moment making sure I hard aim his cupola. I'm not firing unless I know I'm going to kill him, or if he's looking at me, because if I shoot and he hears that I've shot, he may well, or they may well overextend to then get a shot into me. So I want to try and back out of this situation if I can, now that I'm not spotted, to try and put myself in a safer position. Because I don't want to be in a position that I get taken out, because this game is not won yet, is it? It's been pretty even all the way through. It's 6-7, but a decent start to the game though, on 5,000 damage. So I want to try and see if I get more out of this game. And now I'm going to try and I can get into a position to see if I can shoot the stuff coming down the 4-5, and try and help out my tank destroyers over there by getting a few shots in, because that's where the majority of the team, enemy team, is now located. Unfortunately, we have lost our fun police, and enemy still does have their fun police, and we don't really have anything which is putting their fun police under any pressure, so they do kind of have full reign, and I know that I can get shot from the enemy fun police here, but there's not a lot I can do about that situation at the moment, because I've got tanks in front of me. I've got one in. We just spotted this ISU. We go to try and put one in there. Unfortunately, I think I was hit too close to his gun. I should be able to pen him with the AP, but I couldn't fully aim the shot because I didn't want to stay, zoomed in, and don't want to risk getting a shot, because I have a one shot to him. Annoyingly, we missed a shot onto the Super Sherman as well. We again get shot by the artillery, and then we miss another shot, which is a shame, because we could have just had an extra 1,000 damage here. We would have just hit those 2 shots. We make sure we fully aim this one, and we do get one in, thankfully, putting us on to sort of 6,000 damage. But like I say, we could have been sitting on the 7k mark had we have landed those first 2 shots, but it wasn't to be. The Sherman is a one shot to us, Super Sherman is a one shot to us, but he gets taken out by our 30B. And now we're pushing in to see if we can get a shot into this Leopard or this ISU, to try and get a little bit more damage out of the remaining tanks. The ISU is crossing, so we do aim that one, we get one in, put us on to just under 7k. The Leopard's here, and I think, oh great, I can actually get another shot into this Leopard, so I can eat a shot off Leopard as well, but unfortunately for me, get shut down by our friendly TD, so I wasn't able to get the extra bit of damage. Now there's only one tank left, it's the Fun Police, it's the prize we all want, but I'm not thinking I'm going to be quick enough to get there over our light tank, which is pushing, and obviously our friendly medium Beho. I mean, they're probably going to get there before me, but you've got to try, just in case, because, who doesn't want to pick up a little, kill in the piggy as well. It'd be nice to put myself over the 7k mark. But you see he's got shot by the light tank there, and I'm trying to get there. I think he eats another shot in a minute off of the light tank, which he does. But it's looking like I might be able to just get the shot in and the kill, and we thankfully do get that in, picking up the kill, bringing us then to the second replay. Let's see how we did. We've got 3 kills, 7,000 damage, so we had a pretty decent game. Blocked about 1,000 damage. It's only a second class for the 7k damage. However, we do have one final replay to come, and as always, we saved the best to last, so I'll see you in a bit for a second. Okay, so thanks for staying with us. Here we are for the final replay, and we're on an Ellenberg assault. Now, we've got one fun police in the game and no light tanks in the game. And what we're going to do is, because it's the assault variant, I've decided I'm actually going to go left and push underneath their ridge, which can be risky, or it definitely can be risky. But because it's the assault variant and there's no light tanks, I'm hoping that if I go that way, get under their ridge, if we get enough support from enemy team, which I do, sorry, a friendly team, which we have got quite a few, tanks coming with us. I'm hoping they might stay back and just give us a cover fire, essentially. So when the enemy team tries to overextend the ridge, we get that assistance. That's at least the plan. Anyway, so we're going to move across, and as we do it, we've got this TVP in the open. We aim this shot. We want to make sure we get that nice little bit of damage and punish this guy for getting a side angle on us. And aim this shot, and thankfully we managed to shut that tank down, pick up a little bit of assistance, and put us on the board with the damage, which is always nice. And now we're safely under the ridge. Haven't eaten any damage in return because there was no light tanks to spot us early, which allowed us to get here. We spot this Waffle W111 on the hill. I'm thinking brilliant. We've got the fun police on our team. That should be potentially some assistance if he's watching that area. I pulled back. I didn't want to overextend and lose my tank. I just wanted to keep them lit. Now it looks like the enemy team are actually going to make it push round, and there's quite a lot of tanks. So I'm prioritising the wide angles because they're the ones which are going to get the shots onto me first. So like for example with Scorpion, I'm going to try and prioritise those tanks first. But there's a lot of tanks there, and I am a little bit scared. But we do have the protection of our TDs covering us, so we are picking up assistance when they try and overextend on us. But we just need to punish anyone who tries to take a wide angle, and we want to keep this DPM flying in because we need to be damaging these tanks because, well, we're outgunned. So this VZ makes the push, and like I say, this is a tank I'm prioritising. Very dangerous tank. He gets one in. We just managed to get back, so he bounces a second shell. We know he's on the reload, so we're going to try and get a shot in, which we do, putting him onto a free shot to us. We're ignoring the T32 at the moment because he's not my biggest concern, but he overextends so much that we are going to take that shot and take him out. But then this Type 4 heavy just decides I'm just going to full send, even if it means I'm going to die, which is kind of, to be honest with you, there's little other outcome of a death for this Type 4 heavy because all the TDs were located. So thankfully we are still in the game, but he has put us on 800 hit points, but we have picked up quite a nice little bit of assistance from that, and yeah, I was a little bit scared for a second, but I want to get my gun back in the game because we have lost some of the support been taken out now. And I want to keep this gun slinging because my only hope of me surviving is if I keep punishing these tanks, making sure I keep everything lit. I'm trying to punish this Wizzy because, like I say, it's a dangerous tank, and I'm trying to keep proxy spotting the stuff on the hill so that our fun police can get shots in and our TDs can get shots in, and then that I'm going to rely on them to keep me in this game at the moment because I'm going to need them, and obviously they need me as well to keep them lit up. So we're spotting this 705. I'm a 2-shot, so that's 705 on an average roll. So that is a little bit of a concern. I don't want to eat any more damage at this point because I don't want to be a 1-shot to the 705A because then he might decide that he's just going to throw caution to the wind and full send me. We do manage to spot a T95, big target for the fun police there, and we pick up another shot of assistance. You notice I'm using a small mini map at the moment. That's because I need to know exactly what's happening if people try and make a push on me, like this 705 is doing now. Thankfully, he actually stops. We managed to get a shot into his track wheel, which is lovely. And now he's getting absolutely farmed from my TDs covering me, and that's put us onto just over 4k assistance and 4k damage. I don't even know how we are still in this game, if I'm honest with you. It was positioned just in the right sort of position to pull back and really make the enemy team have to suffer if they're going to try and take me out. Push them under as many guns as possible. And thankfully for me, the TDs were hitting. But we're now getting pushed by this general, so we turn our armour, make sure we're giving him the hardest possible target, because he doesn't, and thankfully he actually does manage to bounce both his shots and the Turan takes him out. I'm now getting pushed by this S-Bahn. Oh, I'm praying he gets shot, because it'd be really unjust for me to get killed by this tank. I don't think I deserve to die from an S-Bahn, just full sending at this point. But thankfully he throws his shot, and yeah, he's failed miserably there, and we managed to take him out. And I was so glad I didn't get killed by the S-Bahn, because it was just like I say, it's another thing where there was no other outcome than the S-Bahn to die, making that move on me. Even if he killed me, which he may have done, he would have thrown his own tank. So I'm glad that, thankfully that didn't happen, because we are having a good game here. And I'd like to try and maximise it and pick up a few more bits of damage, because if I'm honest, I feel like, obviously, with the help of my friendly team, it's provided me cover, but with me there, it's kind of won this side. Without, I wouldn't have won it without the help of my cover, but they wouldn't, they definitely would have lost that position if I wasn't there. We're going to see if we're going to get a shot into this M55, which we do. Now we've got this WZ-111. I'm not going to swap to the HE just because I'm halfway through my reload, and we're going to try and get a shot in if we can. I'd love to pick up a little shot of damage. We get one in. He's on a one shot to us. There's pretty much no point swapping to the HE because he's a one shot. So we're going to try and get one in, see if we can finish him off, which we do. Now I'm on 806 hit points. This T95 has 750 alpha. So I decided, you know what, I'll just try and eat a shot, and typically he high rolls a 4x56 and takes me out in one shot. Now, I didn't, I could have played that safer and waited, but I was being lazy because I thought at any point he's going to get shot by our fun police, and I wanted to pick up all the damage from that kill. And I knew that it's very unlikely we're going to lose at this point. And I thought, if I eat one shot, I'll get behind the tank and then I've won. There's nothing he's possibly going to do to me if I get behind him. Particularly, my luck, he massively high rolls and takes me out at one shot, which is frustrating. But nonetheless, it's still been a really good game. So let's get to the scoreboard and see what we did. We managed to pick up, I believe, just over 6,000 damage, 4 kills, and sort of about 5,000 assistance. So we've had sort of an over 10k combined game. Got the ace tanker and the high caliber, and yeah, that's an end to the replay of the recently buffed 5A. So thank you for watching, and as always, happy tanking.
Hadouken!